All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and to everybody that's been waiting. We are live today with Thomas Busson, and he is kind enough to share his process today and talk about some of the things he's been working on and just tell us a little bit about his journey. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us today, Thomas.
Thank you to invite me to this meeting, and I'm very happy to have the opportunity to share my experience, design journey with the community. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely, of course. So anybody, if there is anybody new that's joining that is new to this, we do these every Thursday where we interview a designer or artist from the community, from the art and design community at large, and we just get a look into their process, their journey, talking about design and art. It's really open, so they sometimes vary in flavor, but yeah, today we're with Thomas, and so it's going to be really cool. So we're going to start a little bit a little bit face to face here, and then we're going to jump into VR, and Thomas is going to show us some more of his work and look at some 3D models, and so it'll be really cool. Just to introduce myself really quick, my name is Jaron Dorman, and I'm the design community manager here at Gravity Sketch. Basically, just connecting Gravity Sketch with you as the community. And so, whenever you're talking to Gravity Sketch on the social media, it's probably me. So hello, and yeah, feel free to ask us questions as well during the live. I'll be keeping my eyes on that periodically and shooting questions over to Thomas. I'll try to answer any if I feel like I can answer it. But yeah, I'll just give it away to you, Thomas. And why don't you just introduce yourself and maybe just quickly tell everybody about just a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Thomas. I'm actually an automotive designer. I do my study at Strat in Paris. And so actually I do like project, I build my portfolio to film job. So yeah, I'm 24 and that's pretty it for now.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I came across your work on Instagram, and I think we've been following you for a minute, and you've been doing some really cool work recently, and I think it's called the Panhard. It's like a minivan, a vehicle concept, and it's really cool. I've been doing some great interior design with it, so we're going to dive into some of that. But yeah, just looking at that, and I thought it'd be really cool to hear you just talk, one to one about it and your thought process behind it. So yeah, thank you again for joining us. I guess I'll just ask you really quickly if you could just, before we jump into VR, if you could just talk really quickly about your journey into the world of design and how you got to where you are now.
Like how I can work, like yeah, my journey is like just try to do like good projects. So to do that, I just like thinking about the meaning of each project I do. And when I do that, I like spend a lot of time to know if my idea is good. And after, like, I just like start to do my design, do detail, do form, etc. And basically, I spend a lot of time to sketch, think the right intention. And when I have my principal idea, I go now in Gravity Sketch because I use it more and more. And I try to balance with 2D sketches and 3D sketches and Gravity Sketch to do a complete design with a complete picture, exterior and interior, to push more and more my projects. And so actually, I spend a lot of time in VR, and I correct my VR with 2D sketches, etc. So basically, today it's a bit like that. And after, if I need, I can switch on other 3D software to do specific things. And after, I do like renders to make cool illustration and to communicate about my project. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. we're definitely going to get into some of that too, and looking into your process and seeing visually, sort of how your thought process works and everything. Can you just quickly tell us about what got you into cars? What got you into vehicles? Was it early? Was it at an early age, or was it sort of later in life? What were some of the steps that got you into automotive design?
Like for the cars, I think it's a bit like late because when I'm young, the main things is to create things. Like I love draw, but it's more to express myself. So I just spend a lot of time to do animals, to do mechanic things, to do a landscape. I don't know. It's just to yeah a way to express myself, like language or like music for musician, etc. And after I just feel the need to create something to like just export my idea on the paper, and I have to ask me what kind of job or activities I can do to do that on my life. And like very early, like during the college, I think I just find what is the design in general. And when I start to interest myself to the design school and design jobs, I'm looking for the best department for me. And because I really love the movie thing, the object who can make some move or create movement, I think the automotive design is the best for me. So that's why I start to aim that during the high school, and that's why now I have finished my diploma with the automotive specialization. Yeah.
Awesome. So you just basically discovered that automotive design allowed you to, if I understand correctly, allowed you to express yourself through in design the best. Like you like things, like I think you said you like things that move,
Mm-hmm.
probably dynamic shapes. I mean, I think everyone would agree that automotive design um, probably has some of the most complex surfacing and shapes in the world of design and creating and designing things in 3D. And so, based on what you said, it sounded like it was just the area where you really felt like you could express yourself,
Yeah.
or you just basically fit.
Yeah, also because it's challenging, because like you say, it's technical and you have to prove, I mean, a lot of, yeah, you can do a lot of things to, I don't know, to reach the level you need to do car design. And because it's hard, I think, yeah, it's just challenging me, and I'm a bit attracted by this yeah challenging thing. I don't know, this feeling to reach a better level. So yeah, also that's why yeah I have a good feeling with that.
Awesome. Um, well, I just want to say, thanks again for joining with us. Let me. I think we're just going to jump right into VR. Are you ready
Mm-hmm.
to? Are you ready to just move right over
Yeah,
there?
sure.
Okay. Um, so we're just going to move on to VR. Just give us a few seconds here, and we're going to transition. Let's see real quick. All right. So, if there's anybody new watching, we're using Gravity Sketch's co-creation feature right now. Currently, only available to businesses or educational institutions. Um, but essentially, we're in the same VR space, and so Thomas is he's in France. I'm in Texas, and so we're able to talk to each other in virtual space one to one. So we're going to be diving into his model here, but and look at some of his work. But uh, Thomas, why don't you
Yeah.
just give a little introduction into this project? Maybe give some people some context on what it's all about.
So this project is because I need new project on my portfolio. I asked to myself to how I can bring some new stuff in car design way. And so for this one, I just like thinking about the L5 mobility, like L5 level, because in the autonomous car you have different level of autonomous thing. And so the L5 is the maximum level you can have in an autonomous car. It's like the car is completely autonomous. And the thing is, I thinking about how I can manage my design to fit with the context or the pilot have the responsibility of his car. Like he had to have the control on his car, even if the car is completely autonomous. And so I thinking about that, and after I thinking about what kind of package I can bring with this idea. And for me, the most useful thing for the autonomous car is for the long project or the long journey or the long travel, sorry. And so that's why I made like a big car for the family, autonomous, and it's the point I choose to start this project. So yeah, just the start of that. And after, the second thing is I want to improve my skills in Gravity Sketch. So for this one, I search to push really hard the Gravity Sketch and try to make everything, the exterior, the interior, also the very basic mechanic part and the package to have something credible. Like it's just not shaped like you can have the space for suspension and stuff like that, for example. So yeah, that's the point for this project.
Awesome. Yeah, it's beautiful design, and we're going to be taking a closer look here. And that's one of the things that that caught my attention about this was that it was completely 100% Gravity Sketch, interior and exterior. And that was a question. That's actually another thing I was going to ask you, which is why Gravity Sketch? And you mentioned you wanted your skills to be better in Gravity Sketch. Have you found that you could solve problems quicker in Gravity Sketch? Why did you want to get better at using Gravity
because
Sketch?
I think it's Gravity Sketch. It's something like more close to the handmade project because it's more like draw in 3D, and Gravity Sketch is more close to that. If you compare to Blender, for example, it's more mathematical in a way, and have maybe a special attached to the drawing. And for me, it's it's like you can draw your surface. I don't know how to describe that in the correct way, but have the feeling to draw every surface, to manage the reflection, like maybe point per point sometimes, and have this a good feeling about that. And also because it's really easy to work with 2D sketches. Like if I have anything to correct, I just take a screenshot of the actual 3D, go on Photoshop or any drawing software, and after I just correct surface, I have detail in the interior, and because it's so flexible compared to other 3D software, I prefer to use it. It's like, it's more accessible in a way. So you can accelerate your process if you work well with your sketches. That's why I think I continue in my work on sketch, and why I choose it for now.
Awesome. Before we dive in here, what are some of the other tools that you use alongside Gravity Sketch, if any?
Like what can I used before?
Yeah. What other other pieces of software?
Before I use like a beginner on Blender, so I use a bit that, and but I use sketches and Photoshop a lot, and I express myself just with that basically. And so all my projects are just illustration and drawings. And because it's 3D drawings, Gravity Sketch bring a sort of natural ergonomic reflection. Like when you draw something, you see immediately if the proportions are good, but with the real size, like because this model you can bring it in the real size, you can see how it looks like in the reality, you know. And even for the interior, it's really, really amazing because you can feel if the commands are at the right place and if the details are just, I can grab it or not, if the seat has the good size and stuff like that. And all these points are very natural and it's more hard to reach it with just drawings and Photoshop. So yeah, so that's why I just like integrate really easily Gravity Sketch in my process. And yeah, but before to resume your question, just Photoshop and sketch it.
Yeah, there's something you said there. When you're working in Gravity Sketch and making something full scale, there's just something different about moving it with your hand that gives it a more natural, organic look.
Mhm.
Similar to if you were sculpting something in clay in real life, that human touch, to full scale, I think carries through a little more in Gravity Sketch, even though it's a digital tool. Um,
Mhm.
it's that it's it's the closest thing you can get to hand, to knife, clay knife to clay, as you can without, actually physically doing it. But
Mhm.
having that scale, like you were talking about, and moving it around and seeing how the reflections are bouncing off of the curvature as you adjust, um, is, uh, is huge in decision making in the design process.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get in a little bit closer, and you can talk a little bit more about some of your thinking from the interior. I'm gonna blow this up just a little bit, and then I'm actually going to um, change to a first person mode so we can see a little bit better. But just for the external camera here, I'm gonna just turn around this design so you can see it. It's really really nice form. Um, it's a really really dense model, so our scene is lagging just a little bit, but that's okay. It should be overall pretty fine. I'm gonna stop moving it now. Um, Position it there, and let me just give me a second to switch to my head cam here. And we're gonna have a closer look. So, Thomas, why don't you just go ahead and take it away? Where do you want to start, with the exterior or the interior?
For a bit the both in the same time.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
sure.
like because I'll start with the package. Like I'll start with the wheels. I'll start with the I don't know the suspension, the engine thing. I try to place everything before, and after I place the very basic seats to see if everybody can enter in the car. And after I bring like a side view, a sketch side view to start to draw with line, etc. And yeah, I can just like bring something because I maybe some image can be more easy to I can help to understand a bit. But the thing is, yeah, so I just like place, for example, here is like a project
Look,
that you.
looks like you might be lagging a little bit,
Okay.
Thomas, as you're bringing some of these
Yeah, yeah,
in.
I come back. I just shut down. But if you see the image I download, maybe you see it.
Yeah, it's purple right now. It's not showing up yet.
Ah, okay.
It should load. It should load in a
Okay.
minute.
Okay, so the thing is, I start with a sketch in the middle of the symmetric axis, and I try to turn around my package, and after I start to extrude the line and start to build my model. And yeah, so after I start to do the model. So I don't start by the interior or the exterior. I start by the package to be sure to have like a realistic volume. And after I do the exterior, just to yeah to fix the exterior design, to create a sort of um, to create a cool visual for the exterior, but also to create a sort of a restriction, if I can say that like that, to build my interior in. It's like I want to create sort of just I just want to for my interior to I don't know to how to say that. It's like my interior had to fit with an exterior, so that's why I start by the exterior. Yeah, with the
Yeah,
exterior.
that makes sense. Starting with the package. I mean, because that's really the more proper way to do it, right? I mean, for at least for a final model, because right, when you're sketching and drawing curves, you're just trying to find an interesting form, an interesting shape. But a lot of times in
Yeah,
design, especially automotive design, sketches are very expressive, right? They're very artistic and expressive, but they don't really follow, a real world package per se. And a lot of
yeah,
times, concept sketches are way off in proportion, but they look really cool, you know? And so it makes a lot of sense when you say, when you're in Gravity Sketch, you can actually have some of that freedom, that sketch freedom,
hmm,
while also working around a real world automotive package. And so you can get best of both worlds. You can be solving actual design problems, making sure that the seats are spaced correctly, everything's positioned right, and then you can, but you can also still be very free with your strokes and move things around and stylize it, which is really cool.
yeah, and basically because I want to keep this flow, like you say, I start with the line with the CV. So when I have a sketch, like maybe I don't know, but if I have something very basic, uh, I don't know, but I have something like that. I don't know. Oh, yeah, the symmetry there. So if I have yeah the car like that, and I have like basic shape here, here, I have a main line here, or something like that. So this is my sketch, and I start immediately after with this line like that, and basically I just place everything to fit a maximum with my sketch. I work a bit like each line, I remove CV, I do stuff like that. And when I feel like all the line like that, I just like extrude, take some volume, place the wheel like a package. And after I do this exercise for each line, and I start to like turn around the car, place all the line to see if it's fit with the sketch. And when I'm glad about the result, I start with subsurf. So I take the tool and I start like with the low poly. So I don't use the subsurf with the subsurf activate. So I just like do with the hard face, because you can synthesize your surface and you can do like work with a minimum of CV. So it's better. Like just the thing I've discovered with practice, I think. And so I do like something like that.
So interesting. So you said you start with the low poly um,
Yeah.
sub D surface. Can you explain again why you start with low poly first?
Because when I start Gravity Sketch, when I start to use subsurface, I start with the smooth one. So I start to work like that. And because the subsurf like smooths everything. So if I want to do my hood like that here, for example, and I don't know, I want to have um, hard, sharp section there, I have to place the CV there, and just that like had a line of CV. So if I don't want to make a kind of heavy surface, I just like remove the CV line if I can. Maybe I can't. I don't know. Maybe the connection. Yeah. So just try like that. Yeah. So I just like, yeah, erase the CV line, place in low poly. So every section are sharp. So have to be more direct, like, because I know I have a line there, I can continue to work without CV. So I keep my subsurface light, and it's really more easy to manage my surface after. And when my subsurface locally look good, I start to add line of CV to manage the sharp line, soft line, etc. So it's yeah, just the process I have to be fast in a way, and to manage my surface easily.
Wow, very interesting. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's a more kind of strategic way of working with your forms, um, so that down the line they're more successful. It seems to me. Um, I'm also looking here at your model. You've got let's see if I can break this. You've got this separate piece here, which is wild.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a challenge for me, this one, because I know we cannot cut surface for now in Graphic Sketch. So the thing is, have to test how I can make cool surface with separate pieces in Gravity Sketch. So also because I want to prepare this model to animation on Keyshot, for example,
yeah,
I want to do separate pieces from the beginning to don't have to do that after.
yeah,
So like you see for the doors, here like every pieces of the doors can be attached in a group. Oh yeah, you can do it also for it. And so like you say, you can see all the interior of the door, and you can grab everything, and everything come with the door if you make a group. And you can see also
right.
in the interior of the door, you have all the surface you need to cover the technical piece. And yeah, so
Wow.
it's separate because I need it, and I made a lot of tests with grid line and stuff like that to ensure myself to have a clean surface. So for example, for the door, I use a lot the two the line, yeah, this line with like very flashy colors, like that, for example. And I do like stuff like that. So I just like draw line very close to the space, and I try to bend like that. And when the door are like here, like that, okay, so now it's up to replace the door at the right place. But the thing is, I have to align every CV on the surface of the door and the main body. And so I just like work with the CV to find the way to align everything. So yeah, pretty challenging, but the results are good. So I'm pretty glad about that.
I'm just
So again,
amazed by all of the like the structural surfaces that you've done here too, like the all the stuff that isn't seen on the interior or the exterior, except when the door is moved. Um, what I'm really curious how you were able to line up. You may have explained it, but I didn't quite understand. So, how you were able to line this up perfectly with this? Um,
Uh,
like,
okay.
how did those line
What?
up? How were you able to get those to line up so closely to each other?
So I have to be careful because, like you see, just because you just move, it's impossible to replace at the same exact the same place. You have to go back in time with the left hand, and so all during the process, I don't touch these two pieces. They stay exactly at the same point. And when you watch the series of doors, especially here, when you watch the CV of the doors and the main arch, the front arch, you see all the points and CV are linked in the two different pieces,
Hmm.
in two different pieces. And after, like you see, I just like catch those lines, like place like that on the main line. So have a CV line here, have a CV line here. So I place the grid line um, exactly on the CV line, and I try to have like a minimum CV on the grid line to have something very smooth. Like this one, maybe I can like stretch it from here. And after I go in the door to manage the CVs, and I try to align the CVs with this line. And when I'm glad about the result, I can just like unzoom and watch if it fits. And when it fits, I just like go to another task. Yeah. So that's the process to adding the surface as close than this one.
Wow, and so it seems like you're taking a real alias kind of mindset or alias approach to it. Or do you have experience using alias?
Have some, but it's not my favorite. It's like because it it's the surfacing are perfect, but it takes a lot of time to manage everything perfectly, especially with the fillets and the the how to say, but when you have three fillets who go in one point, it's this kind of very technical thing you have to manage in
Yeah.
alias and to and it's not have a big impact in your final design, you know. And so that's why I don't use so much alias because I feel it a bit I don't know how to say that, but it's like constraint. It makes a lot of constraint, even if it's very perfect at the end. So yeah, I have some experience on it, but not so much. I just switched very soon on Gravity Sketch and Blender.
Um, well, why don't we dive into your interior here? You can talk about um, your seats because I love your seats. They're so cool. I mean, I love the whole interior, but uh, I just would love to hear you talk about um, maybe I'm gonna pull um, this down, put it down there. Yeah, talk through some of the design process and the some of the interior, the thinking that you had when you were designing this.
So this one is a bit specific because, like I said to you, it's an autonomous car. So the car can drive alone. And in this project, the thing is, the driver or the responsible of this car have to keep the control on it. Okay. So the thing is, have to find a way to give the control of the car uh, to the pilot or to the driver, but he don't have to have the same responsibility than a normal car. So maybe he don't have to have brakes acceleration and steering wheel. So I just challenged this idea. And in an autonomous car, maybe the main thing you have to do is not to uh, control the steering wheel, but maybe just to control the acceleration and the braking of the car. Because the AI are just different than the human brain, for example, maybe they cannot like see something strange on the road. So the driver, even if the car are super smart and autonomous, can like brake or reduce the speed of the car if it think it need to. So that's why the main handle on the left and on the right are the acceleration, like in the plane, you have like the acceleration handle for the end. And just when you are a very slow speed, like 20 kilometers, something like that, you can control the direction with the two pedals on the ground to control like the direction and turn left and right, basically, because it's like the rest. I don't know to turn left and right in the plane. I don't remember the name of those pedals. But yeah, so you can turn with the feet and manage the speed with your hand because it's the new main task you have to do in the car. And also because it's really easy to do, accelerate and brake, you have the handle on the left and on the right because the two uh, front people can control the car. So because the car is made for the very long travel, like when you go in holiday and you have to make 5 hours of travel, you can like just switch the driver and don't make a pause. Like yeah, you just want to make a pause and make a rest. I don't know. You just have to switch the control to your neighbor, and that's it. So you can continue to drive. And of course, if you need to make a break, you can stop the car.
That's really cool.
And yeah, and here is the smartphone because this car is made for the holidays. So maybe you have some family who have two cars, and you have like one car and one car for the holidays, or two car for I don't know the man and the two people who are in the couple or family or I don't know. And maybe in the future you don't need to have holiday car. So maybe you can rent it, and because it's autonomous, you can like just I don't know like rent it, and the car come in front of your house. And because you have the smartphone there with the application to rent this car, you can just like have an application there, like unlock with Bluetooth the car, and when you go in the car, you just press the smartphone here, and it's unclock the car, and you just have to start the car like with the key, for example. And so yeah, that's the point for the front of the car. And after, because you're both to have the possibility to drive this car, you have the speedometer in the center, you have the car in the center, the main things are in the center, and you have one line all around. The green line you have, it's we just write more densely here, for example, green, if it works. Okay, so I have shown them again, but this is the idea. So you have just a light you can go around you to signal the car around you. So it's just a comfort option. And so yeah, for the interior, it's pretty it for the front.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think it looks like your avatar has frozen, but that's okay. My feed is fine, so it's not terrible for everybody else. It's fine. Uh, it's probably this model. It's got a lot of data, so but that's okay. I mean, it's beautiful. It's amazing. I'm glad people
No,
can
no,
see this.
it's me. Just my connection is
Okay,
so
okay. Well, no worries. I just want to say, I love sitting in this car. It feels very cozy. and it's even though it's just very well designed. Like I love the way it leans back. The interactions seem really cool too. Like the whole idea that you said a minute ago about just picking up your phone and just putting it up to the sensor there, and then you're able to start the vehicle. I love that interaction. Seems really natural, and the whole idea with the pedals and controlling acceleration. I think that really feels like the future of interacting with vehicles. I think in the future, potentially even near future, as we become more autonomous, and how can we still have some of that human interaction while the car is mostly autonomous? Because I think I think that's going to be the balance. As designers create these autonomous vehicles, how could we give the passenger a sense of control over their environment and the vehicle in some way, without it just being, this completely autonomous, you can't do anything. And this feels like a very, like a cool way to interact with the vehicle, but not like in a super active way. It's kind of passive, I would say, like a way of interacting with the vehicle, which is pretty cool. And I love these windows here underneath the sort of the eye line here, which is really cool. You can see the road. It almost has like that helicopter feel. With helicopters, you can
absolutely. It's
look
the
below.
it's the point because the car are inspired by the airliners, like all this image you have around the sky, the big plane, helicopters, stuff like that. I want to bring a maximum of things will bring you the idea you control a big plane and you just have to make a flight to your destination. And also that's why you have these windows close to the road, because you can see the road go just under you.
Yeah.
And maybe it's bringing you a bit of feeling of your car fly just
That's what I was just gonna say. Is I could totally fly in this thing if this was in the car. If this was in the sky, I would. I don't think. I think it would all make so much sense. Like there's nothing about this that wouldn't make any sense if I was in the sky right now. And because of the way that, the way these chairs kind of lean back, sort of the side interaction here. I just love it. It's so cool. Do you want to talk a little bit about this area here in the back, and sort of your thought process with?
I have something. I have something I have to show because maybe it's not clear, but the I just have to make some group before, but you can fold the table. So table looks something like that. So it's a sort of high class seat also from the plane.
Nice.
This is the goal to do that. And the thing is, okay, so it's a bit brutal, but I think I can do it like that. Okay, so something like that. And the thing is, you have to have the feeling to you can have a good moment there, even if the travel is long. So the thing is, have to create something comfortable visually and spacious, even if, like in the train, you don't have so much place for the foot. So you have, for example, like my foot, my legs, sorry, here, and it's a bit long, and your legs have to be, you have to cross, and after you have the guys in the center, and after you have your navel, and so the thing is you have to be, this area have to be a bit dense in terms of legs and foot, but the thing is, because the seats are a bit comfortable, your chest or very have some distance with me. So you fill the space, and also to increase the inspiration, I have 6 windows if you are looking for that, because the body is I don't know the English name for that, but you have paint surface in one side, and the other side you have like a small window. It's like a sort of mirror, but just for one side. And
So,
so because the body, yeah.
are you saying that this is like a digital screen showing you the outside, or?
No, this is a window, but
Okay.
from the exterior, you
Oh, I
see
see what
the
you're
body.
saying.
It's like more.
It's a
Okay.
one-sided
And
mirror, kind of,
yeah, yeah. So this is the point.
or
And
single-sided. That's cool.
yeah, that's strange. Okay. And so I have more window because it creates like a sort of open space. And even if the car are close to your head, to your shoulder, etc., you feel you're almost outside of the car. And it creates a lot of light for the interior and also the sensation of space. And you have, yeah, basically the sensation of comfort thanks to the space it's creates. And after, I want to add like a tablet, like that's why you have like a sort of mid table there. And there we can like bring some energy for your smartphone, like the induction plate to recharge your smartphone and stuff like that. And you have the same seat to the front to create a connection, like a design connection, because the same shape, etc. Also because the bench here, it's basically the same seat where you are,
Yeah.
but just extend with 3 places. And here you have this table. You can like just go here.
Oh, very
So
nice.
here you have the table, and the table like do something like something like that. And it's create like a lot of comfort because you have a table, so you can just bring your, I don't know, computer, books,
Yeah.
I don't know what you want, and you have space to do some task you can just do into your house. And because you have this table, it creates a lot of house feeling. So that's why the seat, even if it's not the the best way to economize sorry, to
Accommodate?
gain space. Yeah, sorry,
That's
to gain
fine.
space. Yeah, you create this I don't know, like this sense to, and so that's why I choose this position for the seats. And also because it's allow me to integrate the hydrogen tank. And if you go there, just under this one, normally it's a window. But so if you just bring this one here, you have the hydrogen tank because the car has to be an hydrogen car. So you have batteries just under the rear seat.
Oh, I see.
And here, because it's create a sort of triangle volume, I can integrate the hydrogen tank here. And so yeah, so finally, I don't do so much space with this position of seat. Because normally, when you place 2 seats, 2 comfortable seats, like back to back, you create like all this space, and all this space is just losing, because normally when you place the legs of your passenger, the legs have to be very close to the seat like that. And that's why you earn a lot of space. So when you choose to place the seats like that, you lose all the space here. But if you justify that with this, for example, it's okay. So yeah.
So, next thing I'm curious about is how does the door come off? Is it like this?
Oh yeah, like just replace it before. I just show you. So I have to take this one, this one, this one, I have to take also the interior of the door. This one. And the radar here, yeah. So after the door have to be open, like, okay,
Very
yeah,
cool. Wow.
something like that. And here is, okay, so I will just mistake here. And here is like the piston. So maybe the opening is not as extreme than here. Maybe it's more like, okay, I have to
This is
read
pretty cool.
it
So you
again.
can, seems like you can easily access these modules here too, if you need. By the door being
Yeah,
open, you can access this area pretty easily. Um, would there potentially be a surface? Hold on. Oops. Whoa. Would there be a surface here that you would step onto? I'm assuming.
sorry, I just shut down, so I have to wait
Oh, that's okay.
reload.
It's all right. Yeah, we'll wait.
Okay, I see.
So a surface basically this here.
Mm-hmm.
Would there be a surface like this instead of a gap? I'm assuming there wouldn't be a gap here, and then you would step here to get into the vehicle.
Yeah, I have a step because the ground of the car are pretty low, and but maybe just because also I just want to cut this surface. I don't cut the black surface, but maybe it will be better to do it like that. And also because the chassis have a section here, and I don't know. I have the feeling to have a big section here to have a strong structure there. So yeah, it's just about my own feeling. But yeah, I have like a step here. Uh, okay, maybe because also the surface are just gone. Oh, okay, sorry. It's just because I take the both, but I have one now.
Ah.
Okay, so the step you create here is just on door. Okay.
Yes. Okay, I see.
Think about my.
Yeah. Um,
Okay, I just can't go back because yeah, I just break my model. But yeah, you got the idea. So normally it's there.
that's cool. That's
So
just
yeah,
it's just a great design. I love it. It's so cool. It feels like, I mean, you said it earlier. It feels like you were inspired by airliners or airplanes, and it very much has that feel when you're like sitting in here. This just feels like I'm in an aircraft, but it's very cozy too. I know I said that before, but it feels very like comfortable.
mm,
I don't know. Just get that feeling, because I feel like some cars have a sort of sterile feeling to them. I think because you have everything so close together, it feels a little more intimate, um, and and it's kind of laid back. Like these chairs are leaned back a little bit, and already kind of putting you in a more relaxed position.
mm.
All of the surfaces, the interaction surfaces are fairly low towards the lap. Um, it's really, really cool. Yeah, I love it. Let me check some of the comments here, see if anybody's saying some stuff. Do. Lots of questions on Gravity Sketch. If anybody has questions for Thomas, love to shoot those over. Let's see if I can answer some of these. Let's see. Yeah, co-creation. So right now, co-creation is just available for educational institutions and businesses at the moment. Um, we are working with some version where one in the future where we can have individuals use it as well. Um, there's just some of the things we're working through as far as um, server load and things like that. But that is something we would like to do at some point in the future. We just don't really have a timeline on it yet, but it's something we would like to bring. So stay tuned for updates on that. Um, but yeah, um, I think someone was asking you a question if at the top here. If I go up to the top. Let me see. I can't find it, but yeah, I just thank you very much, Thomas, for taking us through this process and the design here. It's beautiful work, and I mean, how long how much time have you invested in this project, particularly the model? What would you say the time investment has been creating this?
For this one, a lot, because just like I said, want to push it very hard because if you just watch through the body, you can see the chassis, like the main structure. It's like just a gray piece. You have also the place for the suspension in the front, even if it's not perfect in the engineering way, they are there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I just like
Oh
want
yeah.
to have
Wow.
something realistic in a way. So I just spent 1 month and a half for the entire project, not all the time in the VR, but mostly. And if I have to speak in hours, I don't know. I don't know, but it's a lot. It's like maybe uh,
Yeah.
in 1 month it's maybe 100 or I don't know. It's like maybe more. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But
A
yeah,
lot is a good
it's a
answer.
lot. It's a lot because it's yeah a project of 1 month. So I say 100. Maybe it looks like a lot, but in not really. It's like just a normal time.
Well, and your goal too, I think you mentioned it before, your goal with this was to take it, I mean, to do it 100% in Gravity Sketch and then take it, I think, into Blender, right? To do some renderings with it.
Yeah,
Um,
the main goal is to don't have to redo any PCs with other softwares, just to see if I can reach uh, and quality enough good to do metallic renders on Keyshot, for example, and just to see if I can manage the light reflection in the good way
yeah.
to yeah to have cool reflection, etc. And
So,
oh yeah.
so let me ask you then, what's your answer on that? I'm curious, because I've been actually curious about that as well. You know, how far can you go in Gravity Sketch to not use any other tools but just go straight into rendering? What's your answer to that? To that, to your journey and your exploration on that? Have you now that you've done this model in Gravity Sketch? Um,
Yeah, mostly have maybe some stuff to add, like very like basic thing. But if I show you like this part, it's also a door. So I
oh
hide
wow,
it like that because it's the front is the door for the two front people. So if my connection don't shut down, please,
you know what you can also
the
do.
door have to be open like that. Okay.
You don't have
So
to.
I use a lot of this, but how to do something like that, and for example, how to like complete the hole here and stuff like that. I just have to finish these things, and
Wow.
after the model will be done for Gravity Sketch, and after I just try to make like animation and stuff like that. So the point is, I think you can reach a very good quality, but maybe uh, I don't know how I have to manage my my process to increase to decrease the time I spend on the surface. And but it's not in like how to say it, like, it's not as precise than alias, but it's really enough to communicate with the 3D modules. So it's a bit specified for the car design, but for example, you can communicate very easily all the surface you want, all the volume you want. And if you need to make cool renders, it's yeah almost enough to do the job well if you have time, I think. And yeah, so
So
it's just
that's
about the ratio into time and quality. So
yeah,
I just
that's
no.
that's a really good point, and I guess that's what I was trying to find out is the amount of time that you spent in Gravity Sketch and in VR, um, and the quality that you got out of it. Um, did you find it a better process by doing it 100% in VR versus maybe half in VR, the other half in another
I think it's
program?
hard to say that because I'm alone on this project, I fixed the design. So I don't have like, for example, a boss who say me, yeah, maybe you see your car, your light here, maybe it's better like here, you know. And
Yeah.
if I had to do that, because I spend a lot of time on this lamp, I have to redo it, and have to think about how I can redo it and reuse a maximum of piece to don't reuse. And I don't have this experience with Gravity Sketch, for example, but I know for the 3D, basically when you have some change to do, you have to redo the 3D.
Yeah.
And so for Gravity Sketch, I don't experiment that for now. But when you fix your design and you're sure about your sketches and you're sure about your proportion, I think it's a good way to show a very good model to figure what the design is.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think I just can say that. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. No, that's great. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that's what a lot of other designers have discovered too. Is um, it's a way of really getting the design defined, um, and, and proven. And if you want to if you want to make a quick change, you know, say I wanted to, let me actually break this again. Um, say I wanted to edit this surface. Let me see where I got here.
Oh yeah, and also when I edit a surface, I remove all the CV I used to like set the corner. Like for example, this one here.
Mm-hmm.
If you zoom here, have two CV very close to the end.
Yeah.
And when I set up a surface, I do like that. I remove all the CV I don't need, and after I move the CV because if you don't do that, the surface start to be a mess.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Um, that's really cool. That's a really good thing too. Is like if you find yourself when you're working in Gravity Sketch doing sub D, you learn that there's sort of some tricks to sub D modeling that you have to learn, things like that. Working in low poly mode and starting general, getting more complex. Um, but like there's something as simple as if I just draw like a surface, you know, if I wanted to change the profile of the surface to this, that would be like 3-4 clicks in like a 2D program, whereas in Gravity Sketch I just grab it and move it.
Yeah.
And that is, when you multiply that over all these surfaces and all the stuff you're creating, you're saving so much time.
Yeah.
Um, well, thank you very much, Thomas. I'm going to check comments one more time here. Let's see here. Okay, we got a question for you. Where are you working?
Actually, nowhere, because the situation is a bit complicated now. So actually, that's why also I build my portfolio, and I want to show in my portfolio the best skill I have. So that's why I want to improve Gravity Sketch. I want to improve Render, etc. And so yeah, I actually looking for a job, and yeah, just right now send my portfolio to the car company and see what's happening. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. No. Yeah. Um, well, okay. So we got a few other questions here for you. How do you think Gravity Sketch can fit in the automotive design studio?
Sorry again.
Um, how do you think Gravity Sketch can fit in the automotive design studio?
I think it can bring a lot in the design journey because actually in the design studio you use mostly like Sketch and Photoshop, and so in some company you have to use also mostly Alias right now. But now it start to change. Like for example, I know Ford use Gravity Sketch, and some students bring Blender in the company and show to their boss it's good also. And so for the 3D software, it's actually the mentality change a bit. And if Gravity Sketch are implemented in the car company, uh, we can show maybe the process will be a bit accelerated, because when you watch when we work with the 2D sketches in the same time, you even for you build every model very more quickly in your head, and it's a very good tool, I think, to communicate very in a fast way with the 3D models, for example. And maybe it's also a good tool to show to the, because it exists, the boss in design who not this kind of boss don't have, maybe, I don't know, like it's better to communicate with very good renders and 3Ds, and so maybe sometimes it can help to understand volume. I don't know. And so yeah, maybe it can bring some help and some speed in the process.
Speed is the name of the game.
Yeah, I think it's the one of the best thing, like more the most important thing.
Um, well, thank you very much, Thomas. I'm gonna. Um, this is something that we ask a lot of our or all of our guests, and that is, are there any tools or functions in Gravity Sketch that you have enjoyed using, that you like in particular? Are there any, and then are there any tools that you wish that you had in Gravity Sketch? And I'll just leave it open to you.
So like you say, like you see, I use a lot of subsurface. And also I use a lot of the line with the CV. I just have to remember the name, like the stroke with the CV, to fix my design, to watch if the to just like yeah test my proportion, and also yeah. So this is the main tool I use, and also a lot of smart move, like the move were just constrained by y, x on uh, yeah, the main axis. And so yeah, this is the main tool I use. And if I have some advice, I think it could be cool to have an axis symmetric tool for the subsurface, like especially for the wheels, because now we use a lot the stroke and the flat stroke, and it could be very cool to have the subsurface in the same mode. Maybe think about fillet and offset for the subsurface, because if you zoom here, when I manage this surface, for example, and I want to have like a good section would take light on keyshot, etc. have to manually add an extra surface, we just make the corner here. And maybe if the surface can have an automatic surface option, automatic offset option, for example.
Surface thickness is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Right?
sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
right. So maybe it could be cool, and also with like an automatic fillet on the corner or something like that, just to catch the light in the good way. Yeah, something like that could be cool.
So, a trick I want to show you here is, this is something I agree with you on. I think symmetry for sub D surface would be really cool. This is something that might be a cool trick, and for anybody watching, is you can go to your stroke tool and select the ribbon stroke. I know you can't see this, Thomas, but if you go to your stroke tool and go all the way over to the ribbon stroke, and then you turn on your polar symmetry, this is technically a sub D surface that you can
Okay.
edit.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay.
So it kind of does what you're saying there, and let's see.
So it could be cool to have this one on the subsurface also. It's yeah, really nice.
So it's kind of sub D, so I guess you have to convert it to sub D, and then you've lost the symmetry there. So,
Can I set it?
What's that?
Can I set the space?
The
I
what?
just grab and set it. Okay, so okay, nice.
Yeah. And then if you convert it, let's see, if you convert it to sub D, it looks like this.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, the symmetry is lost. So I agree with you. I think a symmetrical sub D surface would be really cool. Absolutely. And let me just turn that off. Yeah, and then on the surface thickness, we've gotten that a lot from the community as well, being able to take surfaces and thicken them. I know that in the footwear community, that would be super useful as well, as far as making different surfaces on shoes and things like that. So, but yeah, thank you very much. Well, last thing, is there anywhere that people can find you?
On Instagram, on Behance.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, please go check Thomas out. We're also going to have a link to his Instagram as well as his Behance on the description of the video, and you can follow more of his amazing work. Last thing I will ask you, Thomas, is there any parting wisdom as a designer that you can give to the watcher, to the viewers here? Any sort of advice that you might give?
Sorry, advice about?
Just about design, being a designer, car design. It can be something broad or specific.
I think when you create your design, the main thing is to be proud of your design. And when you are proud of the design, the thing I think about that is if it speaks to you, it speaks to someone else. So
Wow.
you have to be convinced about what you achieve, and it will be fine.
That's really good. I think that's really powerful what you just said. If it speaks to you, it speaks to someone else. Yeah, and I've heard that before. You know, you got to follow your intuition, follow your gut almost in design, because often that's the correct direction to go. Well, thank you very much, Thomas, for your time, and thank you everybody that's been watching. If you missed the beginning of it, this will be available as soon as it's over. So go and watch it. And then we've been doing a lot of these interviews. So check out more of our interviews that we've been doing on our YouTube channel, as well as all the training and workflow content we've been putting out. And we do a lot of stuff on our Twitter and Facebook and on our Instagram as well. So go check all that out. But thank you again, Thomas. Really appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week. Bye now.
Bye.